Unless the telling the joke part is a part of telling the serious thing.
Apparently, that's what the...
By the way, better hope Itachi doesn't switch with somebody while you're in the middle of this.
Yeah.
Hey everybody, welcome back to the Stoneface Reactions. I'm Theta, this is Lessons, and we are back with another episode of Kokoro Connect. Once again, thank you to Zope for sponsoring this show. I know I just brought up to Lessons off screen that we have a board, and I guess for that sake, I will bring it up. There is no board changelog, however, so nothing to really talk about there. So I'll just leave this up unless you have something you want to mention.
No, it's a good way of keeping track of, well, as best as we can, all the people that are there. Not a huge cast compared to other shows that we watch, but because of the body flipping or switching, and not flipping, body flipping.
Body flipping is switching. A new show on House Network. Well, yeah.
Oh,
I mean, a large cast of characters would make this more difficult to follow than, say, Durarara.
Considering that this is Aliens, or an Alien, it would be more like the History Channel.
Well, History Channel circa early 2000s, back when it was all Civil War and aliens. Now, I guess, no, you're right, never mind. They are all, cryptoids and aliens now. Anyway, yeah, have the board. We'll leave the board down there, I guess, while we discuss notes until editor me decides to put a GIF in there or something. I don't know. Can't plan for future me. Said past me. As future me regrets past me's actions. So board. Notes. Notes. My first thing here is just a note from Himiko that I think I've only put here specifically so I can remember it in case I have to remember that Himiko said this. Everyone except yourself is an enemy.
That is bad.
Well, the show is all about character points of view and life experiences and how they clash with other characters' life experiences and points of view, which is why I said a larger cast would make this a very confusing show, because it's already very confusing based on the small amount of cast members we have and their interactions with one another. Well, Himiko certainly is good at reading people. She makes an observation about taichi and then breaks it down for him how right she is about him, that we, the audience, can also understand while also expositing character traits Taichi has to help further develop him. So when she says things about Iori, like how close she is to breaking down, I have to see that as insight from a character that's just proven her powers of insight. Taichi is someone that likes putting himself through ordeals to help others, and Iori is hiding a problem that we may have missed for having focused on Yui's far more obvious concerns. I mean, I would suspect Iori's thing is her overworked mother and their shared situation, but I wouldn't put it past the show to introduce something more there. Not for nothing, Himiko knows about Yui's problem too, when she makes the comments about Iori.
I mean, it could be related to her overworked mother. It could affect that there's no father involved that we know of.
But remember, she says this. Remember, she says this while also knowing about Yui's problem. So put in the context of things that you're saying, as opposed to what Yui is going through.
Well, we already, kind of cleared Yui's problem, especially with that beatdown.
Maybe
that happened in the park.
I mean, maybe that's good for a long-term solution. But I mean, the conversation I'm talking about and that insight is at the beginning of the episode. The thing you're talking about is the end of the episode.
Yeah, they're talking in the park during the daytime. It's like, oh, what are you doing here? Picking up the trash. What are you dragging me out here for? And she's like, yeah, this is the type of people you are. You're a jobber, like in wrestling, right? That's what you like to do.
Well, no, technically, she asks him about wrestling, and then he describes to her what a jobber is.
Yeah.
And then she's like, I don't fucking care. Stop talking to me about this. And he's like, you asked me. And then she goes on her whole insight thing about his problem.
And I also said, and you said that you didn't feel about it, that I also feel that her insight and her whole about it is also, I think she's interested in Tai Chi in her own way, but she doesn't want to admit that.
I mean, maybe reverse. I think Taichi is interested in her.
No, I think Tai Chi is interested in Yodi. Well,
There's the
no,
middle of the episode when
everybody.
Aoki and Taichi are recording on their phones when they're in both girls' bodies. He's in
Yeah.
Himiko's body recording, "Please go out, me. Would you please go out with me?"
Yeah, but at the same time, I think everybody's shipping Iori and Taichi together. They themselves are like, I don't know about this, you know.
Well, I mean, we still don't know Aori's real situation to be able to even feel comfortable in doing that. My point is that Taichi in Himiko's body recorded a video begging Himiko, as Himiko begging to him to go out with her or something like that. The point being is that's what Aoki is doing in Yui's body, and we know that his motivation, he's only
Yeah,
interested in her. Taichi doing that in Himiko's body sets up what is going on there.
I mean, they did say they were going to erase it as well. It seemed more like a joke than anything else. But although we do know that as far as Yoshifumi is, he is very much into Yui. So much so that when he realizes what's going on, extremely guilty about it, and it's like, and then tells Taishi to still stay away from her because he's still interested.
Well, he says that you'll fix the problem before I do, and you'll look better in her eyes, and you're probably better for her than I am. And that's when he runs off to try and, get in her good graces before Taichi can do anything. And it doesn't matter because Taichi still does everything. So that, not helped from the fact that they switched bodies. I don't know if it's an intentional thing or if other things will come down the line to change this later, but it certainly seems the case that this show wants to express the dangers of being a woman and how men don't understand how different things are. Both our male leads treat the swaps as just something that happens, and sometimes even just things to have fun with. Now we've gotten two girls expressing how dangerous this is to them, one physically and the other mentally. The one girl that's acted like this whole thing is fine is also one that is being pointed at as on being the verge of a breakdown.
Yeah, I mean, again, it's about understanding other people, and it's not merely on the individual level, but also a societal level, right? That and also the openness between the girls that they know more about each other, but they don't share that with the guys, and the guys themselves don't know as much about each other as they know about as the girls seem to know about each other. So it's a thing of like, yeah, there are differences,
Well,
but
no, they
it's
expressed that in episode 2 when they was
mhm.
trying to prove that the guys had switched bodies, and they're like, "Okay, ask me a question that only you would know about the other one." They expressed that the guys know about as much about each other as the girls know about each other. But obviously the paradigm being that the guys don't know as much about the girls, and the girls, I don't know. It seems like Himiko knows a lot about the guys. I don't think it's a two-way street on not knowing stuff. Because again, my whole point here is the understanding element that the guys don't understand how dangerous it is to be a woman.
Yeah, in this society, or our society, for that.
Since it's known that I rewatch for my notes, I rewatch in English. I just want to point out that Taichi is voiced by Greg Ayers, a voice I feel I've heard across a ton of anime. And he does a ton of voices from the early aughts onwards, but the ones that stuck out to me were Ganta from Dead Man Wonderland, Shion from Number 6, Unzen from Medaka Box, and Toya from Log Horizon. The thing is, for some reason, I remember this voice as the voice of characters I've disliked over the years. And going over the characters that he's voiced, I didn't dislike any of the ones that I knew. No clue why I get this feeling from his voice.
Uh, yeah, you mentioned Dead Man Wonderland. Also, Welcome K, which I've heard about a lot but
I've
never
watched
seen.
all of Welcome to the NHK, but the character he voices in that, didn't immediately stick out to me. So it might just be that I've forgotten too much. Welcome to the NHA. You say you've heard about it. It's a great show. Rafferty got me back on it back when we first doing tabletop together. So
Ouran High School Host Club. Again, I haven't watched it.
see, I only listed the anime that I've watched, and I knew the character he voiced. I'm not listing all of the anime he's in. Well, I know, but you're right now going through all of the anime he's in and saying, I didn't watch it. So try and stick to the ones that you've watched.
I'm trying to find one that I actually had, and I can't find any. I think Samurai 7 is probably the only one I watched.
I'm pretty sure he's been in a show that we watched together. I don't know if you saw the English side for. Because I didn't specifically like call out any of the ones that I thought you may have seen. Again, I only listed the shows I've watched. I remember we used to walk home from work singing the Dead Man Wonderland theme song in my out loud to the point where a security guard came over and said, "Are you all right?" I was just shouting it out. I will be your dead man. It was a good song.
Oh yeah, he was in Dangers in My Heart. I'd certainly seen that.
The English version?
Well, the Japanese version.
See, there you go. You can't list it. This is the problem when I was doing the voice actor roundup, when I was trying to list voice actors that have been in a ton of shows that we watched here on the channel. And then be like, oh yeah, I recognize that guy. I was like, oh no, on the channel we watch this in Japanese. So it's like, I can't list that guy.
Watched the first episode of SSSS Gridman, but didn't finish it.
I didn't see it. Like I said, there was more shows that he's been characters in that I've seen, but he's either been characters that I don't remember or recognize, or was like a background character with such a small role that I wouldn't mention him being in the show for.
Yeah, this was the show I had to finish. My First Girlfriend is a Gal, but I haven't finished that show yet.
Saw the trailer for it.
The problem is that the problem with that show is it's a bit ecchi, but that's not really the problem. The problem is there's one background character, one of the guys, because there's a friend group of nerds and losers that don't get any girls, and one of them, the thing is that the protagonist does hook up with this girl, right? But they keep talking about, oh, she wants to do this, she wants you to do that, right? All the lewd thoughts that they have being teenage boys, right? His are all about underage kids. And this is like a running joke of his. And I'm like, I don't need this. I know he's a teenager, but still, I don't need that I don't need, right? So every time he's even show starts talking, I'm like, cut past him because it's like, ugh, no. Whatever the joke is, I'm not laughing.
All right, I was just looking, since you've given me the time to bring it up. There was one show, like I've already seen a bunch of them that I would normally have mentioned, but the element of I don't specifically remember the character. Like he's in Drifters, and I fucking love Drifters, but I don't remember the character he's in. But there was one on here that I remember I wanted to mention, but then I read the character's name, and it's like, I don't fucking remember this guy. And now I just really want to remember what that was. Also, Kenichi the Mightiest Disciple, you didn't watch that in English?
Yes, I finished. No, I saw it in Japanese because I saw it in Crunchyroll.
I say because he played Koga.
Was he? Koga wasn't none of them are blind. He appears to be a blind, but he's not actually blind. He is
No, Koga is like a teenager-looking guy, not a...
Oh, okay. Not the taichi master.
Yeah, no, not one of the old people.
Too bad that show never got finished, because I know the manga continues. There's a whole, tournament thing arc that happens later, but I don't think we'll ever see the end of it. It's been like 20 years now? Close to 20 years?
I mean, again, I was bringing up the Alien Princess one. Came back after some 20 years.
No, it could be. A remake, maybe. It was a good show. I liked it.
Oh, that's right. He was in Neon Genesis Evangelion. Kowara Nagase. I don't know that character. It doesn't ring a bell to me.
Yeah, I think that's a skinny kid, or that is a late entry character that comes in one episode, tries to seduce the main character, and then dies.
Fifth Child and 17th Angel.
I think I know who that is.
I mean, it's from the 1997 version, so it's not from like one of the
Yeah.
extra movies.
No, this is from that. Yeah, I know who the character is, and I saw it in English. So yeah, this probably is the one character of his that I know in English because I originally saw Evangelion in English.
I mean, I
in
saw
the Cartoon Network.
I saw all of NGE, and I just don't remember it. That's my problem.
He comes late in the series, like 3 or 4 episodes before the end. Yeah, not the movies. He's not in the movies. I don't know if he's in the new version either, but yeah. Or actually, Evangelion has been remade like twice already, so keeps being remade.
That'll be the next movie. NGE 6.75. You shall not remake.
Again.
All right. So, as I said before, the show has really gone to some lengths to express the difference in how girls are taking this versus how the guys are. The episode starts with it, will end with it, but in the middle, the guys are fucking around again. Certainly, I'm no enlightened Buddha, so I can see how Aoki and Taichi see what they're doing as harmless fun. Hell, they even declared their intent to delete what they were when they were done. But the girls are on edge and don't see things the same way. One could argue that Himiko's streak threat and Yui's threat of physical violence were equivalent to the damage the guys could do to the girl's reputation if their fucking around got around outside of this. So gotta make it clear to them to stop. It's as much a defense of themselves as Yui's previous speech about how much danger their bodies could be in for their current occupants not thinking about basic things that Yui herself can constantly has to consider due to what's happened to her in the past.
Yeah, fair enough. I mean, if those videos got out, those messages, because they're flip phones, but apparently they do have video capability, which many flip phones did back in the day. Well, later on, other people was like, oh, they're dating, blah blah, and all kinds of rumors, and fights and whatnot, and they don't want the reputational hit, right? I mean, to be constantly like, oh, you're dating that guy's like this. Yeah, there will be a whole situation where the boy's reputation wouldn't be as harmed. In fact, could be enhanced by, oh yeah, you're dating this girl. The girl's reputation, on the other hand, could be trashed by the situation.
That's what I was saying, equivalent damage.
Yeah, it's not the same thing, which is totally unfair.
I like that there is an element of involuntary response going on with the bodies as opposed to the psyches inhabiting them. Something I talk about when reacting to Link Click. This is like the third time lessons has heard me talk about Link Click today. Something I talk about when reacting to Link Click sometimes is the element of when Chang inhabits a body, it informs him of things that he might not otherwise know immediately. Like, he inhabits a girl named Shan Shan, and when the guy she likes approaches her, Chang points out that her heart is beating in a certain way and says, I know this feeling, so that we know what is up and what the character feels, while also giving us information on how that particular show's transfer system works. Well, we get that here too. Aoki notices that Yui's body shakes when a man is around. It's a behavior outside his direct control. The body does it. He recognizes what fear feels like and identifies its source, to then ask Yui about it later. It's a good exposition about a part of the transfer we wouldn't know about otherwise, and also allows us to explore other characters' internal issues externally without having to push the narrative very far from what we are already doing.
The mind forgets, but the body remembers. That's basically what I think is going on here.
Well, I thought I had a note about it, specifically writing it this way, but I guess I didn't. Instinct versus consciousness thought. If you've been burned by something plenty of times before and then approach it, you might wince away without thinking about it, remembering how much it hurt, versus consciously thinking, don't touch that thing.
Fear is a powerful motivator.
Yes, but the more systems will fall through. Never mind, I forgot to quote fucking Tarkin. I suppose there's also an expressed difference between Himiko's view on Taichi's personality as a negative and Aoki's view that Taichi's desire to save everyone as a positive. The different views of different people, in this case, much like many of my comments of last episode, coming down to a woman's view and a man's view. I should also point out that the very next scene is showing Taichi's unwillingness to express his desires over someone else's, which could also be a factor in limiting his development. I mean, we do see him saving someone later, Yui, but as Himiko pointed out, at his own personal cost. The feeling of getting kicked in the dick. The very same thing being expressed on the couch, wanting to watch what he wants, but unable to put his foot down and directly request it, and in the end, being left unhappy.
Yeah. I mean, the way I would put it is that you can be selfish in your selflessness and selfless in your selfishness. There's also the sense of, I think the whole wrestling thing is, I think he wants to see himself as a hero, right? That there's part of it is not purely, I want to help people. It's like, oh, I'm the one who does the thing, right? And if I have to endure because that's what it takes to be a hero, then so be it, right? So while mostly a positive characteristic, even that kind of characteristic can have negative overtones, like not putting your foot down because you don't want to be the person that causes trouble, right? You want to be everybody like you, and you don't want to cuss waves. You don't want to be you don't want to be the source of pain or even uh, conflict for anyone else, right? You want to be the person that when it comes in, everybody's like, oh, yeah, there's that guy. He's a good guy, right?
I mean, yeah, that's indicating it could be the thing that we have to deal with Taichi. Again,
Yeah.
also considering the outward expression of good trait, negative trait, based on two different people's opinions.
And also the whole doing good feels good, right? Doing good is his own reward, right? I did think that makes me feel good because I did the thing, right? But am I really doing the thing because it's something that is inherently a good thing to do, or am I doing it for in this case, the emotional reward of doing the thing?
Well, yeah,
right?
We don't know what Taichi's motivation for doing these things is, or where the motivation comes from. The element that Taichi demonstrates, though, that each of their weaknesses could be used to bolster each other completely unrelated weaknesses, is certainly an element I'd like to see more of moving forwards, even if I'm unsure how. This could be the turning point, or even the theme of the show. Introduce a problem, see how the character suffers from it, and then another character with a weakness counter to it shares with that character in a way to make it easier to cope with.
Empathy.
Well, I mean, that is the broader spectrum thing, but you remember, I never finished the first season. I got like 7, 8 episodes in. Bunny Girl Senpai. The idea that they're sharing each other's weaknesses helped bolster. Well, that wasn't even the theme there, because essentially he says, I love you, and that solved her problem.
Well,
in this case, it's like just 3 episodes, and Yui's problem is solved by the weakness of being a man, right? That her problem is that I have a fear of men because of what happened to me, and let me express to you the on-off button. And I'll show you how that feels, and that's why you shouldn't really be afraid of us. We all have an on-off button.
I did finish the series, and I watched the movies.
Well, don't spoil for me.
And
should I take my headset off?
There's a new series. No. I'm not going to say. I'm going to talk exactly about the stuff that you talked about, so you know what happened. So there's no worry there. Not a spoiler. And there's a new series coming up, I think, this summer. So hooray for that. Anyway, in that situation, it wasn't simply the fact that he confessed his love. It's the way he did it. He was willing to face...
Make a fool in front of everybody for her, so that she was recognized. Well, it's also known that she was recognized by everybody who forgot about her because he's saying her name out loud. It's also embarrassing to her, which is also an element that works.
Yeah, because she has to deal with the whole aspect of, the reason why she wanted to be forgotten is because her mother put him in a position that was embarrassing, right, and humiliating, and she lost control. That led to a split between her and her mother. And he's like, sometimes in life things can be embarrassing, right? Which is ironic because the way she appears first is a somewhat embarrassing situation wearing a bunny suit, right? But because nobody can see her, she's immune to embarrassment, right? Until he shows up, like, oh, I can see you, like, oh, you can see me, and right, and she allows herself to be vulnerable around him, which allows him in turn to confront his own problems, which eventually will resurface later on. Spoiler, not gonna say what that is. Don't want to spoil it. You should watch it, by the way. I watch it completely because you told me. I will say the same way. You should watch it before the new season comes out.
Didn't win the
if you have the
poll.
time.
I'm watching Dan to Dan now.
Watch it on your own time.
I can't.
If you can.
It might be in another poll. I'm restricted in that way. I can only watch what wins polls. It's my. I forgot what I forgot what I used to. Well, I guess it is, but I used to describe the things going on with the characters of Bunny Girl Senpai as being like an inverse X-Men thing. You get a superpower when you come of age, and it works against you. Like, so, I used to browse social media all the time, and now, whenever people lash out at me on social media, it physically hurts me. I know I'm using an example from the show.
His weakness is, up to this point, is that he is remembered as doing something embarrassing or prohibited, right? He's seen as a hoodlum. He's seen somebody start fights and everything.
It wounds him on his own body.
Yeah, but
technically, his little sister has the same
thing. People don't
know
that. People don't know
that.
Well,
except for everyone he shares it with, which seems to be everyone.
No, but not in the rest of, he's known for the guy who was in the hospital and all that, and it seems to be like an embarrassing thing. So he uses that, I'm the embarrassing, say something embarrassing, expose himself to further, It
has been so long since I watched the show that when I watched the trailer for the new one, I did not recognize the main character was still the main character. It's like, are they introducing a new guy? In my head, because oddly, when I do my live streams, I play all the openings for shows that I've watched before, so that people who are just like tuning in for half a second, like, oh, he's seen that show. The one that I remember thinking first opening, what was it? When he's running down the road following the tram or whatever it is.
Yeah.
That guy in my head didn't look like the guy from the trailer. So I was like, oh, maybe it's a new character? Nope, that's apparently the same guy.
Just like the same guy for the new season of, hopefully the final season of Rent a Girlfriend. I'm going to watch it. It's going to be a hate watch, but I'm going to watch it just because I want to see how it ends.
I always heard it was bad, so I never got into it. And then even Rent a Girlfriend, I think, was this season. I saw the trailer, and it was like, that doesn't look good either.
Yeah, I'll watch it because I committed to 4 seasons. I'm still hoping that there is an element I really like, but it has nothing to do with the main characters.
It's all the girlfriends. I'm into all the girlfriends.
Really? They're supposed to be, fan service bait, but that's not what.
Legitimately, I was more interested in the possibility of finally, all the times I think of, what's the show's name? Card Fight something? It's like every fucking season there's a season of Card Fight. It's a card game based show that has a card game in the real world along with it. It's like, it's every goddamn season. There's a new season of this show. Maybe I just fucking start watching it and I can like play the card game or something. I don't know.
I tried to get into 100 Girlfriends that really, really love me, but I never got to that.
Well, as I've already said, Dan to Dan won the poll.
You have more notes, I take it, right?
I only have one, and that's just a notice of the new switches. If you recall, my switching nomenclature is we're up to switch number 8 plus time skip, because we don't know how many. There was a time skip, and we don't know how many switches there were in the time skip, which is to say, switch 8 plus time skip is Yui, switches to Taichi, who switches to Himiko, who switches to Aoki, who switches to Yui. That's that one. And then we also had in the same episode switch number 9 plus time skip, which is of course Tachi and Yui.
Oh, those are the switches. That's your last note?
That's the last note. Alright, so I guess there's nothing left to do but to hop on in and see what we get.
But before we get started,
Make sure that you hit the like button.
Hit that subscribe button.
Comment down below to feed that algorithm.
on top of all that, if you want to watch more shows like this,
Unfiltered.
Uncensored.
And uncut.
as well as some early access stuff,
You can check it out over on the Patreon.
It's just $5 a month, but hey, no pressure.
There's zero pressure in order to do that. It's just a little bit of extra support, and it would be greatly appreciated.
稲葉死んだかと思ったよ。ただの立ち
Oh,
く
that's
ら
right.
み
She
で
passed
死
out
ぬ
at
か
the
よ。
end of last episode.
でもびっくりした。あいつが何かしたのかと思っちゃった。風船カズラは関係ない。ちょっと最近体調崩しててな。本当なら保健室に来るほどでもないんだが。
ダメだって稲葉ちゃん。自分の体は大事にしなきゃ。
お前に私がたしなめられるとはな。
本当に大事にしなきゃだって。
はいはい。
I just really hope that this. I'm sorry. I thought there was going to be more openings. I didn't mean to talk over right at the very end. I just hope this isn't going to be the type of show that taichi solves everything.
True.
There is an era of show that every show had a main character that solved everything, no matter what.
Yeah.
And again, not for nothing, but this guy, the guy who voices him. Sorry, I would say the guy who voices him in English played those characters because he was big up in the early aughts onward. And I want to say early aughts is that era. Like, I don't know if the 90s did it, because I wasn't watching a lot of anime in the 90s, but I do know that I saw quite a few anime in the aughts where it was all main guy can't do wrong. Sorry, you were about to say something.
Well, they're setting him up as that kind of character.
Well, that's why I was thinking that, because the camera focused on him right there at the end, as though he was trying to figure out how to solve this problem now. Because, like, everyone had the concerned look in their eyes, but, you know, the fact that Taichi just solved a problem, and now I can't help but think that now it's going to be Taichi's time to solve another problem.
It might well be that he can't solve this problem. It's something beyond his king, right?
I don't know that I want a whole episode to figure out that Taichi isn't that guy.
ここで稲葉を放り出したら、明日桐山に蹴りを食らわせられるからな。
だよね。ゆいも青木もついてきたがってたんだから。冗談じゃねえ。4人もぞろぞろ引き連れて歩けるかよ。じゃあ太一、そろそろ昨日ゆいと何があったのかはっきりさせてもらおうか。
I'm not going to invite you all to kick me in the
何
nuts.
がじゃあだよ。全然脈絡ないぞ。
脈絡なんてどうでもいい。とにかく
Okay, by the way.
気になって倒れそうだ。
Also, if you're worried about her fainting, she should be walking in front of you, not behind you.
私たちの信頼関係はそんなものだったのかねえ稲葉。そうだな。
分かった分かった。ただ、
I think it always follows that whatever I decide to start calling the character, they go by the other part of their name. Like they were all calling her Himiko like 2 episodes ago. Now it's Inban.
Yeah, it represents that they're getting closer.
永瀬も何か言ってやってくれ。どうした？
私気づかなかった。
Oh, she didn't know about the secret.
Well, no. Himiko was the only one that did.
Yeah.
永瀬、多分桐山はそんな風に誰かが気を使ったりギクシャクしたりするのが嫌なんだと思う。だから永瀬もなるべく今まで通り接してやれ。
Also, I know that view was him noticing her trembling and everything, but the tremble was literally her thighs, so maybe not the greatest stare point.
やっぱりお前らお似合いだよ。お互いがお互いを必要とし合ってる。間違いねえ。稲葉、勝手なこと言わないでくれる？こないだも私と太一がしたら多いんだとか言いやがってさ。実際に多いなんだから仕方ないだろ。
Yeah, Farmer in the Dale.
でもあれだな。ゆいのやつも多分太一に惚れかけてるな。稲葉、ストレートすぎ。 自己犠牲野郎の厄介なところは惚れられてしまうという事態がしばしば
Is
発
it?
生してしまうところ
Or
なんだよ
wants to
Is it
な。
really?
use them.
優しさが人を
Yeah,
傷つけ
yeah,
る
more
ことってあ
likely.
るのを忘れんなよ。
それは了解しました。
Oh, he's willing to listen at least.
I mean, is it your problem if people get hurt because you want to help other people? Especially if you're not directly in a relationship with the people that are being hurt by you helping people?
You're still responsible for your actions, though.
Your
Your
actions of
actions lead to
helping people.
But if it doesn't help because you
If
hurt them, then
someone
it
is in
doesn't.
love with you, Lessons, and then you help somebody else that's not that person that's in love with you, that you have no direct relationship with, you're not in a relationship with them, and they feel bad for you helping somebody else, you're responsible for them feeling hurt for you having helped another person who needed your help. See what I'm saying? That is convoluted thinking at best.
勝手すぎる。私のためを思ってくれてるのも分かってるけど。太一は知りたい？私のこと。
それは
Well, right, she's gonna come out and say it.
話
Yeah.
を聞いたって、今まで通りいてくれるって約束するなら
I
話してもい
killed
い。
7 people.
分かった。
That's why I said, like, in episode 1, the only reason that this works so well is that there's not a monster in this group.
We're gonna go to the flood basin
This is where I killed
outside
them.
of Tokyo.
じゃあ話しますか。
It's a good place. Good place to dump bodies.
一ネタ入れておこうと思うんだ。
I tied them to large stones.
シリアスな
I'll think I'll
感じ
take
にな
it
りそうな時には、その前に笑えるネタ入れといた方がいいかなって。
いらねえよ。どういう発想なんだよ。
でもそんな時に
I don't think it works if you tell the people you're gonna tell a joke.
Well, I mean,
Unless they pay for
just
it.
to know what you're doing, because otherwise it might feel weird that you came here to say something serious, and now you're telling jokes out of the blue.
でも本当にネタがないんじゃなくて、あえてこの
Unless the telling the joke part is a part of telling the serious
分かって
thing.
もらいたいな。
分かってもらいたいなじゃねえ
Apparently,
よ。
that's what the
ネタをやろうとした
By
ら
the way, better hope
ネタが
Itachi
ないって
doesn't switch with somebody
ネタを
while you're in the
必要
middle of
と
this.
してねえよ。
つうか、
Yeah.
太一も意外とノリいいよね。
お前が相手だとなんかそうなる。
I was gonna add the arrows between them.
父親が5人いるんだよね。
え？あ。
でも正式に籍を入れたのは3人だった。
Sorry, what are you, from Mamma Mia?
それは永瀬の母
Yeah.
親が離婚してまた再婚してってことか。
そうで、2人目の父親にちょっと問題があったんだ。
I mean, I understand this
そう
one.
いえば暴力を振るうタイプの
I even understand it more now.
Yeah,
でも
yeah,
別に
very violent person.
そんな
I
深刻な話じゃなくて。っていうか
Couple of those.
私がそうさせなかった。私は私を演じたの。その人の好みに合わせてね。
どういう
Oh, I just
相手の
avoided
気
the
分を害
house.
さないように振る舞うんだよ。
yeah, that's one defense strategy of children who
褒められさえする。
yeah.
好き嫌いも全部相手に合わせた。小学校1年の頃だったかな。それからずっと私はいろんな私を使い分けた。
I mean, again, just further down the whole of men and women,
5人目の
different
父親が
experiences.
病気で死ぬ間際に言ってくれたんだよ。もっと自由に
Wow,
生
his
きな
fifth
さい
father.
で、その人が亡くなった後、今まで好き勝手やってごめんね。これからはあなたが望む通りに生きられるよう、お母さんは頑張るわ。
I mean, going through husbands like that is gonna be a roller coaster for a child.
で、ハッピーエンド。
お母さんとはうまくやってるんだな。
So you ended on a joke.
でも、そこ
Happy
か
end
ら
though.
最悪なアフターエピソードが始まるんだよ。自由にしていい。そう言われた私は愕然としたんだ。私の好きなものは何だっけ？私のしたいことって何だっけ？
Like I said, on the verge of a breakdown. Sorry, like Himiko said, on the verge of a breakdown.
で、本当の私をどうやら忘れちゃったのさ。自分の好きにしようとしても、それが何かわからない。
Yeah, because you live so deeply into defense strategies, psychological defense strategies, you can't escape them, right? Especially if you're a
私が唯
child.
一自信が持てるのは、他人の望むことを見破ることなんだ。なのに最近、
Reading other people's feelings is another part of the defense
自由
strategy.
男性恐怖症にも気づかなかったし、
それは
そして人格入れ替わりが起こってしまった。人格としての私はもうほとんど見失われてるのに、体が入れ替わってそれさえ曖昧になって、そのうち誰も私と気づいてくれなくなって、
Well, I mean, you are still different from everyone else, so...
But she doesn't recognize herself.
No, she said
issue.
others will realize it's not me. Or won't realize it's not me.
何があったってどんな風になったって俺が永瀬が永瀬であると分かってやれるからだ
Really feeling like we're pulling a taichi can solve everybody's problem. Show, rather.
永瀬のこと
自己犠牲やろう
とにかく俺にはできるんだ信じろ俺を
Okay, just Himiko. Well, Himiko told him. I thought we got switched.
I think, again, this is a problem he can't really fix. He can support her, which helps, but it can't save him.
どんな話を聞いたって今まで通りでいるそういう男と男の約束をしたじゃないか
なんだそのキャラ
どんな話を聞いたって今まで通りでいるそういう男と男の約束をしたじゃないか
なぜ2回言ったってお前は男じゃないだろ
男と男ってつけるとすっげえ情熱的
Well, okay, not Aoki.
Yeah.
知らねえよ
Well, to be fair, if you're referring to each other as men, there's only one other guy doing
Yeah.
switches, so...
でも今本当に大丈夫かって言ってあげなきゃいけない人間は
Oh, I thought we were going to look at the class president.
Told you she's interested in him.
You're acting like I disagreed.
But you said, oh, you don't think so.
Well, no, I said that he was interested in her, which isn't exactly 100% different.
それぐらい我慢しやがれ根性ねえな
Why are they...
根性で耐えろとか
よりお前は教室戻っとけ
Supervising?
私はあれを休ませる
I think they're in the same class, so they might have been sent to escort her.
Yeah.
She is looking paler.
He dying?
戻ったな
Well, we've covered the fact that she has an illness of some sort.
そんだけ具合悪そうなのにほっとけるか
悪い
いやいいけどお前最近明らかに変だよな
だから大丈夫だって
どう見ても大丈夫じゃないだ
The
ろ
thing is, it doesn't make sense for her to hide it because the moment somebody jumps into her body, they're gonna figure it out, right?
No,
力になりたいんだ
Why not?
because many people have jumped into her body already, and no one's figured it out. So,
それは
evidence-based solutions.
仲間だからとか言うのはなしな
だって稲葉はいつも俺たちのことを気遣ってくれてるじゃないか大事なとこじゃいつも
I would argue that she's not constantly sick, but situationally sick?
そんなことないけどなんかその言い方卑怯じゃね
Because otherwise, I should think somebody would have brought it up by now. Hey, when I was in your body, you were not well.
もう人よしなんだろうなもうちょっとお前らも黒くいてくれたら
黒く
いや違うな
So, I mean, I would remind you, Taichi was in her body last episode.
稲葉本当に大丈夫か
何がだ体ならもう少し休めば
体のことじゃなくてだ
大丈夫じゃねえよ待って今のは違う忘れろ
お前
大丈夫じゃないっての
And remember, Himiko is the one I was saying was describing the mental damage of these switches. Although, now we got Iore doing that too.
一番苦しんでるのはひょっとしてお前なんじゃないのか
ラスト今日は調子悪いわ敵に自分の弱みさらすなんて
こないだもそんなこと言ってたな
Enemy?
It was literally my first quote in my
俺は
notes.
敵なのか
Everyone except yourself is an enemy.
そういう意味じゃないお前らは私にとってこの世で一番大切な仲間だ
I will say this will put a little kink in the idea of solving everyone's problems if one of them is physically dying.
教室戻れ
Yeah.
And it's more so just the final friendships they can make.
呼べないだろうが
And the whole question about what happens if she dies with someone else inside her.
お前らのことが信用できない人と人が入れ替わるその間犯罪やろうが何しようが責任は全部元の体の持ち主に行くやりたい放題
She has a point.
I mean, I think we really covered this already with Yui in the bedroom
あんたは言い
conversation.
過ぎかもな でも小銭をくすねたりできなくはないだろう。
確かにそうかもしれないけど。
私はそんなことをお前らがするんじゃないかって想像してしまう。そう思うと怖くて夜も眠れない。そして何より
Oh, she's not sleeping.
Well, it's the conceit of what if somebody broke into your house and moved things just a little bit and then left?
Yeah.
And kept doing that, you'd be
Yeah.
unsettled. Like, how do I know that someone's not constantly in my house? Well, how can I tell?
It happened to me.
How can
It
I
has
tell?
happened to me.
How can I tell what you've done with my body if I can't
Yeah.
establish the baseline of how I should be?
タイチ、私はこの世の誰も信用していない。だから全員的だ。その中でも多分タイチが一番の敵なんだ。私の思い
Because you're the one you want trust.
この世の誰より私のことを信頼してくれてるから。でも私は人間不信であっても人並みにはみんなと楽しくやれたらとか思ってて、そんな中途半端な性格だから今は毎日が苦痛なんだ。私にはユイとかユーリみたいなトラウマなんかない。壮絶な人生を送ったせいで望まれない性格になってしまったとかよくあるよな。私に言わせれ
Yeah,
ば
that's true. Just people have
I
problems.
mean, it is difficult to be self-deprecating to that degree, so that I have no excuse for being as bad as I
ト
am.
ラウマがない人間はどうしたらいいんだ。私が他人を信用できないのは
Well,
I mean, she does
it-
have trauma. She could have trauma, but she doesn't.
だからそれを直そうと思ったら自分が
you have muted yourself, by the way.
Have I?
Now you're back.
そういう
Yeah, sorry.
You got to like the word trauma and then just like,
救いはないのかもしれないぞ。
Hmm.
お前も
So-
And what I was trying to say was that for her, it might not be. It might be traumatic, but it's like she processed it in a way that's like not trauma for me. So I don't think I have trauma.
でもそれは救われる必要がないからじゃないか。
は？
人が初めから持っている性質なんて全然大したことないものなんじゃないか。
つまりそんなことで悩んでるやつはただのバカってことか。
そこまでは言ってない。けど結局はそうかもしれない。
タイチ
I didn't say it. You said it.
そんな稲葉もありなんじゃないか。
は？
確かに稲葉が信用してくれないことは悲しいんだけど。でも無理に変わ
Well, that's what we're doing. We're doing the thing I was worried about. Taichi, perfect man.
長瀬も桐山も青木ももちろん俺も。
バカかお前は。そんな簡単に行くわけないだろう。
簡単にいかないと決まったわけでもない。だからみんなにも言ってみろよ。
Yeah, that's the part where he's a teenager and so understanding of the people. Right? That's the part that
Well, I
is
mean, it's going to be
typical
the
Japanese
element.
animation.
It's going to be the element that he has to be saved from, as I was going over in my note.
とにかく稲
That
葉
this is his detriment, that he has nothing because he sacrifices for everybody. And can't do anything for himself
どう考えたってネガティブな結果しか
because he doesn't want to hurt other people.
なあ稲葉、人間これを知られたらやばいと考えてると必要以上にそれを重く感じてしまうと思うんだ。だから俺も絶対墓場まで持っていくつもりだった秘密を言ってみようと思う。
どういうことだ？自分が言うから私にも言えってか。
そうだ。
That
これを知られてしまうと
could be something big.
俺の高校生活が終わってしまうというか、社会的に死ぬ。
Again, another element. I'm sacrificing myself for you.
一体どういう頭の構造してるんだお前は。
稲葉、声が大きい。
とりあえずその
But also, you know, an element of I'm trusting you with something, even though you don't trust me.
聞いてからだ。
じゃあ言うぞ。俺は稲葉をおかずにしたことがある。
That's not, cool.
It would destroy him socially.
Right, but I mean, it'd be different if you said,
っていうのはあれか、いわゆる
うん。
ということは多分いおりもよいもだよな。
うん。
そうか。
see, there we go. It's different if you said about somebody else. Telling the person directly that
言っとくけど
regards.
しょっちゅうじゃないぞ。ほとんどやったことないし。って聞いてんのか？
変態！ド変態！エロい抜き地区！兵士者人手なし！発情期！
Well, you've already used creep against him before. It doesn't double
でも
play.
な そんなタイチもありなんじゃないか。とりあえずいろいろアホだな。こんなネタを告白するのもアホだし、これで説得できると思ってるの。
It is stupid.
こんなこと聞いても大丈夫だと思われてるのもアホだし、何よりこんなことで心が動かされてるのがアホだ。
ハンカチいるか。
Not from you. We know what you're using them for.
No lotions or tissues from you ever again. Unless we are in that kind of relationship, but then
Yeah, that's an element that I don't also like here, is that technically we've also got a love triangle going on. Because those two are... Oh, I don't know where Yui was going. This might not actually be a love triangle. Don't worry, he does the same thing. Your body, though.
傷ついた。今のは本当に傷ついた。てか俺限定なのかよ。大地は？
いや、もっと他の感想はないのか。
確かに稲葉は発想がちょっと飛びすぎよね。
Yeah, I've kind of chilled out now that I'm not afraid of these assholes anymore.
安心して。
yeah.
私は稲葉の体で悪いことなんかしないから。
つうか。
Cool, new fear
信
unlocked.
用できないのはみんななんだよね。俺だけじゃないんだよね。
気にするところそこなのか。
とりあえず。
Yeah, I only fall in love with her.
急がないと昼休み終わっちゃうし。
He's allowed to be a little selfish, you know,
話の続きは食べながら。
considering a little bit. I'm saying a lot.
今まで悩んできたことは何だったんだ。
Of course, now from now on, she has to think about him. Well, you know, masturbating to her.
稲葉、できればそれは記憶から抹消して。
No, she won't forget. No.
私の秘密も教えてやるよ。これで私と太一は運命共同体だ。私もお前をおかずにしたことがある。
That's a lie.
Well, that's gonna help me in the future.
That's a lie.
I don't know that it is.
優しい狂い方だな。
I told you she was into him.
I know, you keep telling me that. But I said what didn't really oppose what you said. Oh, looks like we're getting balloon guy again. Whoa. Looks like we're getting a little bit of link click in here too. Sorry,
Suicide?
there was a big thing in link click where somebody possessed falls over the edge of it twice, in fact, now. Falls over a building.
Oof.
Well, ironically, they were suicidal because of a bunch of events. And then he talks her back from the cliff edge, and then somebody else possesses her, grins at him, and just falls back over the edge anyway. So it's like, no! It's somebody also that we want the whole series so far to get saved. And it's like, oh yes, we're finally saving her. Justice for no spoilers. And then fucking dies again anyway. God damn it.
Now, the thing is, could be, because remember, this is Alien doing this. Would the alien allow anyone to commit suicide? Because that would interfere with the experiment?
Balloon person, I forgot their name. Balloon something.
Yeah.
Heart balloon? Balloon heart? Something. Anyway.
Yeah, heart balloon, yeah.
Essentially said that they'll, yeah. Well, they got the English translation name, and then they have the the Japanese name.
Yeah.
But they said they were just watching. Also, not for nothing, this is also like the first episode with no swaps.
No, I think was there a swap?
Nobody.
No, there was a swap. Because there was a swap in the bathroom. That's why there was a guy and the girl in the bathroom. That was a swap.
No, she was throwing up. She was throwing up because she was sick.
Yeah, but remember Taichi was like accompanying her to the room, right? Oh, I take her. And then he go like, oh, I'm back.
I do not remember.
Yeah, there was.
Unfortunately, I'm gonna have to be reminded of this debate point in a month. I do not remember because I was actively talking about the aspect of I thought that they, since they're all in the same class, that they were escorting her.
Yeah, but remember it was a girls' room as well, it's bathroom, so he wouldn't be allowed in there. In fact, he shouldn't be.
Well, that's not an element of the escorting her. Like, he could have been, the intent could have been that he, like, if she falls down, carries her or whatever. I don't know why they have a second person, but maybe that's the kind of thing we're doing. He would have stayed outside the bathroom. But since this is a close group, they just all went in.
Or no, or
Like, we've
he
already
wasn't.
covered at length the element that you don't go into the wrong bathroom. Like, that was we covered that earlier, and then we had the bedroom conversation. How many of you guys have gone into the wrong bathroom? Cut that shit out. Like, we've gone over this repeatedly now, so.
But in this case, I think there was a girl in one, and probably in him. It's like, fine, this is too important. I'm not gonna leave her alone. And the other girl was like, sure, whatever, let's go.
No,
right?
that was the conversation later.
But yeah, literally, Taichi is like,
joke.
No, but that I'm not. Never mind.
Oh, Leslie's getting flustered about the mention of masturbation jokes.
Stop with the masturbation already.
I wish I could.
Oh God. Oh, no tissues for you. Yeah.
Exactly.
Anyway.
Everything just follows through.
They were in the club room. She was lying down. It's like, I'm okay, blah, blah, blah. And then Taichi goes like, oh, I'm back. And then they started talking normally.
Again, don't recall that.
Hmm?
I don't recall it. I don't recall it because we were talking about so many different subjects all at once. Like you said, there's an element here that you really got to be paying attention to specific things. And like when they were walking up to school and she's like, man to man and doing all that stuff. And I'm like, Aoki? And I'm thinking to myself, what are Aoki's mannerisms that would read to me that this is Aoki in Iroha's body? And it's like, nothing. And then it turns out it's not. And it's like, okay, well, I guess it wasn't that.
Well, no, because he seems to be the kind of very buddy-buddy with Taichi. Like, oh, hey, brother, how you doing? Shoulder stuff like that. So that would be something that he would do.
The thing that I described when I was talking about the opening, this is 2 months ago, so you might not remember. The opening segment, when I discussed how the opening goes, and then how the opening has like stuff written about each character on the blackboard, and a bunch of the characters have elements that cross over with one another. I would say two of the characters have the biggest crossover on outward appearance and how they act. Would be okay and Iroha, because she is the one who like flashes and is playful and jokey and all that, big grins and whatnot. Obviously not when she's being serious, as per the water area where we saw her, but that's her normal outward thing. That's Aoki too. So if Aoki and Iroha switched, there wouldn't be much on the outside to express that. They're both touchy grabby, big grins, happy fun. Whatever. And they essentially don't talk that much apart either.
For her, it's a front because she's trying to be a people pleaser. That's her
Aoki is
thing,
the guy.
Right? Yeah, no, I said Aoki, but I was wrong. I was talking about and she's a people pleaser, right? That's her defense mechanism against that violent stepdad was, I'm going to be a people pleaser. I'm going to guess what everybody wants. And therefore, as long as everybody's happy around me, I'm safe.
That's
right?
the element of this game of Guess Who, is that two people can act exactly the same for different reasons, right? This will be a difficult game of Guess Who. Guess Who Body Swap Edition. All right, is your character outwardly happy but secretly suppressing a need for acceptance from others? Ooh, that's a tough call. What are you basing that on? Childhood trauma? Or it's like difficult
Does
game.
Does he look like a bitch? Does he look like a bitch, or is he a bitch? Like, that's
still haven't seen that comedy sketch.
Yeah,
I did look it up after you brought it up the one time. Just couldn't find it.
Yeah, it's not Connect 4. It's you said it. Guess Who? Guess Who?
Well, no, I mean, I've seen like people play jokey editions of Guess Who. Like, do they look like a tourist? It's like,
yeah, it should be on YouTube.
Well, I mean, I couldn't find it when you brought it up, or I guess after the recording that you brought it up.
Well, it's originally from Pulp Fiction.
Well, you said Saturday Night Live,
but then it got replayed in Saturday Night Live as a Guess Who thing situation. So it's gone places, yeah.
Okay. But yeah, it is a complicated series of events that we're in here. And I'm hoping that we're not going to reduce it to Taichi can solve everything, because it does feel like, even more than I said at the beginning of the episode, now at the end, it feels like everyone's looking towards Taichi. And maybe that is actually the arc that we're in. Not so much that Taichi is going to solve everything, but Taichi's going to be overwhelmed by the expectations of everybody thinking he can solve everything. You know, kind of like, was that Macross or Gundam? The one where the guy goes, "It is a pain in the ass that everyone thinks I'm as good as I am, because my enemies come after me, and everyone expects me to be able to get the job done."
Is that Kira from Seed?
I don't think so. Kira is not that cognizant of
Introspective,
self.
yeah. Introspective doesn't have that kind of level to just
I almost want to say it was like
introspection.
Char or something, but I can't remember who or what show it was in. Because I remember specifically making a note about it, because the idea of the character is acknowledging the fact that it's a pain in the ass for everyone to think you're good at your job. Because, again, his enemies come after him. You know, is the idea of, oh, you're X person. If I get you, I make a name for myself. So everyone's out to make a name for themselves by coming after me.
I think it's Char. But I think it's Char from a manga or something like that, not from the 79.
Was it G-Quex flashback? I think it might be in G-Quex, one of the flashback episodes.
Yeah.
Because that's very prescient, you know? And my bosses expect miracles from me, because I've made this name for myself. The idea that you might, what is that thing where you get promoted past your competency level?
Oh, the Duncan Gruner effect? No. That's that you think you're smarter than yourself.
Well, you know what I'm talking about, though.
Yeah. In every organization, eventually somebody will be raised above their level of competency. And
it's not even every organization. It's essentially how promotion systems typically work is that you're exceptionally good at what you do, and the best way to reward you is to promote you, which then raises you out of the thing that you're good at and puts you into a new realm of something you might not be as good at. And unfortunately, sometimes when people aren't good at their jobs, they get removed from said job, in which case you get promoted as a reward out of the thing you were good at, and then removed from the system that you were ever good at to begin with.
Yeah, I think it's called the Peter's Principle, if I'm not mistaken.
That doesn't sound familiar at all. Though it's probably because I've heard the Dunning-Kruger effect so often that it might just be what's in my head. But yeah,
I think Dunning-Kruger is people think that they're smarter than they really are.
Well, the element at play here is, I think, that might have been Char who said it, but it's not for the reason that I said, obviously, because I don't think Char is getting promoted out of a scale. He is just referencing the fact that he got famous on the back of the Battle of Loom, and now everyone expects more from him than he can actually deliver, or desires to deliver, because it could also just be an element of that. And now, like, everybody in the Federation, or some people in Xeon, are after his ass for the recognition. Oh, better than the Red Comet. You know, same way the Black Tri-Stars fucking hated him.
Yeah, if you take that red Comet down, then you made yourself a reputation of being the best, right? Because you took out the former best, right?
Yeah, and before I forget, cycling it back around to Taichi, the idea that everybody, through the actions he has done, through the body switching, or personality switching, as I say, thing, might expect that he is capable of far more than he is. Like, to be fair, the Yui thing was kind of inspired. I wouldn't think hey, kick me in the nuts, that'll show you. So the fact that if he does that, he pulled a second win out with, hey, I masturbate to you. You know, in what world is that a win, typically?
Yeah.
Like, 1 in a million, where it's someone else's fetish. Like, otherwise, slap in the face.
Turns out that she was like, you do that.
Yeah.
Turns out that I do that too. It's like, what?
Yeah.
Well, she said that she does it specifically to him, though, which is an interesting twist.
Well, you also said lie, and I don't think it is. But at the same time, again, the the expected retort is slap in the face, never talk to me again, marches out of room, not in my life anymore. Right?
Yeah.
But again, I understand where he was coming from. I trust you, even though you don't trust me, and I'm going to prove that trust. But again, he's 2 for 2, essentially. All he has to do now is set up Aoki and Yui in an actual relationship, get his mother married again. I don't know what the solution to that one is.
No, I think she should not marry anyone ever again.
Well, I don't think you can set that up. Like, why isn't she deserving of love?
Yeah. Well, it's not that. I think once you go 0 for 5, and her mother's realized, yeah, I'm getting into these constant relationships, and they're affecting my family life and my daughter. Because
the last guy wasn't so bad, apparently. The last guy,
he died.
That's not his fault, unless he did something stupid. He died. Unless he was like, oh, I forgot to mention he died because he was playing Russian roulette by himself, and it's like, oh, okay, now I understand now. But like, it's not his fault. He died on the outside without anything else. So
yeah.
But yeah, no, he's like, be yourself. And it's like, I don't know who I am anymore. Well, you're what, middle school, high school? You got plenty of time to figure it out.
Yeah. I think they're in the first year of high school, I think.
Legitimately being in the club that is with everybody that she's in might be holding her back. If she had the opportunity to explore other club life, like, the fact that she couldn't get in any other clubs and is stuck to this club, which is like doing nothing, she could explore what she actually likes and might be into and whatnot by exploring other clubs. So being stuck here might be the element holding her back.
I mean, I think she played it safe as well, right? I'm going to be in a club that they don't expect much of me anyway, so I don't have to be as much of a people pleaser because nobody expects anything from the club other than the bare minimum.
I mean, unless the thing is that the body switching thing is going to be the thing that helps her.
Probably.
I mean, she's going to be able to explore other people's lives through... I mean, they can't stop her, but at the same time, it seems like this is a group of people completely willing to help.
Yeah. I mean, she fears that she's disappearing because she loses herself in other people, but at the same time, by experiencing other people's lives, she go like, oh, I have a contrast with my own life, right? This is not my home the way I live my home. This is how other people do things. This is what happens to other people, right?
Well,
I'm not them, right?
That's what she was expressing down by the water, that every time I jump, I lose a piece of myself, and I'm worried that there's not going to be anything left. That she says that quite literally, no one's going to be able to tell when it's me, because, she is copying everybody that she is, and she's there. And then, when she's saying it, she's just wide open staring out at the water, not even blinking.
Yeah.
So it's like, So, I mean, I can see it being the negative that's tearing her apart, and as Himiko says, her breaking point. But at the same point, to what I said in my notes, weakness is also someone's strength. That this flipped on its head could also be the thing to save her.
Yeah, like I said, experiencing other people's lives, and then when she comes back to her own, she can make the contrast, right? Oh, this looks like a happy family, but they also have their own problems. Oh, this person has this issue as well. So, overall, yes, I do have my issues, and 5 fathers, or 4 stepfathers at least, and 1.
Well, technically, she still had a 5th stepfather, even if he's no longer with.
Yeah.
Oh, we know he could have been playing Russian roulette with the other 4 stepfathers.
Yeah, let's settle this once and for all.
This also occurs to me, it's slightly funny that the overlay that I put together is both the masturbators. You've got Taichi beneath you, and I've got Himiko beneath me.
Yeah, well, there you go.
I didn't base this on anything, by the way. Like, normally I would do what's the most like character to us. Not on Durara, obviously, because I made that beforehand, so you just got who I thought was the antagonist to my guy, which turned out to be true. In this case, it was just like, what are the main characters of the show? Don't tell me anything. So, and it turned out to be an ensemble group, so I just picked 2 of them.
Either way, this has been a great series so far. I'm digging it.
Yeah.
As confusing as it can be. but in a good way.
Yeah, it's a good show for getting insight into characters that aren't entirely one-dimensional. And again, the fear that Taichi might be, but I see that there's an opportunity there that, he could open up to being a more complex character.
I can see him crashing out because he fails either outside expectations of overwhelming or he fails to save someone. And it's like, but that's my thing. Okay,
Well,
I can't do my thing. Wow.
As per the last episode, before he goes to the Yui thing, before they get switched, when he's sitting on the couch and asking about watching wrestling, and his sister says, after this, and you see his face like, oh. And he can't do anything to assert his own will, and that is his failing. But I don't know that the show's going to get anywhere with that before he saves everybody else.
I mean, it could be ultimately, you save everyone, but you couldn't save yourself. Now it's our turn to help you out kind of situation, which is also pretty common, right?
Yeah.
With the people with hero complexes, right? Oh, you help everybody. That's what he has. He has a hero complex.
If I had seen this in the early 2000s, that would have been an amazing conceit to see the mainish character push themselves to the limit and then fall apart, and then everybody they saved having to come back and save them. I think I'm a bit more jaded now, and I've seen that a lot. So that wouldn't play well, and I'm hoping for more than that.
But I think here the reason is that people have experienced his life, right? It could be situations where, he jumps in and somebody goes, yeah, I should not say anything, but screw this girl. I'm going to stand up for myself. And he's like, why did you do that? Well, because they're stepping all over you. Maybe what happens is he triggers other people to try to help him out, and he backfires. Like, well, he's very helpful. I'll see if I can help him. And it's like, next time they're in the couch, it's like, no, I'm going to watch wrestling. And he's like, oh, you can't do that, blah, blah. And they has a big fight. And the mother goes like, hey, stop messing with your sister, whatever. And he gets into trouble. And the next time he goes like, why'd you do that? Well, because I know you'll be a doormat, right? When you're family, you got to stand up for yourself. Yeah, I know, but I'm handling it, right? And that is like...
I don't think that works, though. I don't think that works because it doesn't work because it's somebody else doing a thing. It doesn't.
Yeah, but he has to face the consequences.
Yeah, well, facing the consequences, he loves facing consequences. That's something we know about him. So somebody else doing that on his behalf doesn't teach him to do things on his own. That's what I'm saying. That doesn't work. He has to figure out how to be that person. Other people can't do it for him.
Well, hear me out. I think I didn't finish my sentence. People try to help him out, and it backfires, right? He doesn't learn until finally it's like, okay, stop doing that. It's not helping. And they're like, okay, so what do we do to help you instead if that's not helping, right? And they all have to figure it out together. Which, again, hero complex who needs to be saved at the end. But
as I said, that's the unsatisfactory ending for me, or at least the ending I've seen too much to want to see again. I want to see something new, and the problem is that this feels like an early aughts anime. So the jaded nature is what I'm talking about. I'm a bit jaded to what was unique back in the day, but I've seen a lot now. So it's not that I think the show would be bad if it happened. I'm just hoping for something more.
Yeah, that's a good note to end it.
All right. Well, that said then, once again, I have been Theta. This has been Lessons. Once again, thank you to Azobe for sponsoring this. I've thrown myself off. Don't remember how I usually sign off. Lessons, take it away.
It's been Stoneface Reactions, and we'll be seeing you next time. Bye-bye.
Hey everybody, thanks for watching another Stoneface Reactions. If you have an idea of another video we could go ahead and watch, go ahead and put it in the comments down below and we'll add it to the wheel. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and let us know what you thought about this video, what parts you liked. And until then, we'll see you next time. Is this too goofy?